Everybody, my name is Ed. Okay, so we're going to do another random comics walkthrough or review, or walkthrough, let's call it. And this one is going to be Marvel Premiere 41 from 1978, featuring Seeker 3000, the last hope for mankind's survival. They fled a dying Earth, seeking salvation from the stars. Okay, and just to fill in people who might not be aware, back in the 60s and 70s, or even going back to the 50s for DC, but DC and Marvel used to put out these anthology comics, and what it is every issue or every couple of issues, they have a completely different character or a different concept or whatever, and the ones that's either sold more or they got a positive fan reaction from, those characters will go on to have their own like comics or whatever, their own titles, what have you. So they were doing this up until I think about the early 80s. DC's titles where they had Showcase for a long time, then they had first issue special, and then with Marvel would do Marvel Spotlight and Marvel Premiere. And like I said, I think they did it up until about the early 80s or so. And I don't think after that it just wasn't that, just the way the market had changed, it just wasn't that profitable for them to keep doing that. So anyway, we've got I don't know if you can see it through, you can see it through here. Covers by Dave Cockrum. And I think, I'm going to guess, he probably did the little character box here as well. And it's clearly a Star Trek influenced concept, even down to just the way it looks. I mean, just look at the way that the spaceship is designed. It kind of looks a little bit like the USS Enterprise in a way. You know, so okay, so let's get into it. All right, so okay, so typical classified ads by little gimmicks and grim gacks and stuff like that. Okay, so Seeker 3000, Doug Moench, Tom Sutton. It says Denise and Rick are the letterers. I'm not sure who that is. R. Sifler is probably Roger Sifler, Slilfer, and Archie Goodman. All right, To the Dying Sun. The artist by Tom Sutton. Tom Sutton was doing a lot of. Sorry. Okay, so I apologize for that. As I'm shooting this video, I'm also cooking, and the steam from the food that I'm boiling set off the fire, set off the fire detector. So, but everything's fine. So anyway, so we're talking about Tom Sutton. Tom Sutton was a guy who did a lot of work in the comics industry during the 70s. He wasn't so much of a superhero artist. At least not that often. Not too often would you see him on something like Spider-Man or a Fantastic Four. You would see him on more like monster-oriented comics or mystery comics. A lot of like science fiction and horror things. That's what you would see him doing. Those type of comics. A lot of the black and white magazines that were coming out at the time from Warren would use Tom Sutton. So anyway, we are introduced here. We're starting to get introduced to the main cast. So we have this lady here, this dude here. Down here, even though we don't see his face, that's this dude. Whoop. Right. And then we get the captain here, and basically they're on this space station. And he's telling them, you know what, we're gonna change the mission. We're supposed to be sitting up here doing blah blah blah, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna scuttle the mission and shove it right down the throats of Jason and the Six. So here's Jason. He's the evil commander that's on Earth, and the six are the six people who run the planet. And basically, the planet has become unlivable, and they're still, it's kind of unlivable for the elite, that type of thing. And they what is it? You hate me, you despise yourselves. Why we have a chance to do something about it? We're puppets and we know it, but Jason knows it even better. And here they're just talking about like the design of the ship and what the mission is and whatever. And they're supposed to be just collecting information and la di da di da. Basically, like I said, the captain wants to go rogue. The super sea monkeys. Huh? You might not be able to see this because it's hard for me to see it in real life, but these are t-shirts for Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew t-shirts. This was a semi-popular TV show, back in the day. Yeah, you can't see this at all. But Sean Cassidy was a star of the Hardy Boys thing. It was Hardy Boys and Parker Stevenson. So Sean Cassidy actually was kind of this kind of, bubblegum pop star back in the late 70s. And he's more or less, the Justin Bieber of his day, what have you. So it was him and Parker Stevens. They were the Hardy Boys. Pamela Sue Martin, she was Nancy Drew. So you'd have the first part of the show would be the Hardy Boys. The second part would be Nancy Drew, or something like that. They would solve little mysteries and yakety schmackety. Parker Stevenson, I'm pretty sure he married, oh God, now I can't remember her name. The actress who played Rebecca on Cheers, Nancy, whatchamacallit. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't even remember her name now. But I'm pretty sure she married Parker Stevens at one point. Anyway. Ah. Okay, so anyway, here's a bunch of exposition about how the sun's gonna go nova, this, that, and the other thing, yakety schmackety. And Jason is trying to coerce the commander to keep working for him. He's like, yeah, your wife still works for me on Earth. And then all of a sudden he's in jail or something. They don't really quite explain it, I guess just for being insubordinate. And then he gets out. Oh, and the thing is, they have this cargo, and the cargo is the clones of all the aristocrats who live on Earth, right? Slim Jims. It doesn't say it anywhere here, but that's clearly a Jack Davis drawing. Also, you remember how many times you felt left out because you were broke? Sell Grit. Grit was this magazine that you were supposed to sell, and if you sold a certain amount of newspapers or magazine or whatever it is, you can make money. All right. But anyway, we're getting back to Commander's telling his crew, screw that. We're not going to do what Jason and the bosses want us to do. We're going to save all the regular people on Earth, and we're going to go find a planet that we can all go live on for all us normal people. And here, everybody cheers them on. Go, go, go. And they have to bring up the fact that there are these mutant people with mutant psychic powers. And they show, here's a little girl here. Okay. And these are some really bad printing. I don't know if it's just this copy or this batch of copies. No, it has to be because I know I must have shown like some other comic from this year or something that has more clear printing than this stuff. But anyway, here's some toys you can buy. You know, you put Spider-Man and Green Goblin on a little string, you slide them along. Some black light posters. Oh, check this out. Johnny Romita. I'm sure that's a Johnny Romita Conan. And here, you can order a catalog to get more stuff. Candy bars. Strong arms. Alright. So anyway, they decide they are going to rescue the psychic mutant girl. Alright. Well, he really wants to go down there to like get his wife, but they decide they're going to get the psychic mutant girl as well. And here she is. She's locked up. And then now she's an adult. And she's got this design on her face because that's the way the government decided to tattoo her or something so that you know she's a psychic mutant girl, I guess. All right. Okay, so here we go. Here's the breakout scene. Da, 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 da. And then she's not sure she should go with him, so she kind of resists at first. But then when she sees all the other soldiers are shooting at her, she decides to join in. Everybody flies off in the shuttles and get back to the main spaceship. Okay. And then we go zooming off. Alright, and here they dump the old cargo, which was the clones of the aristocrats. Okay. Oh, here's Pizzazz. Get with it. Pizzazz was basically Marvel, excuse me, attempting to do their own type of version of a teen magazine like Tiger Beat or something like that. Alright, so moving on. Yep. Ad for subscriptions. Okay, here we go. Thor's Johnny Romita, Captain America's Johnny Romita, Spider-Man's Johnny Romita, Howard the Duck is Frank Brunner. Okay. Captain Marvel is Jim Starlin. Daredevil is Gil Kane. I know what this is from, this Human Torch is from, so I know that's Johnny Romita. I'm going to say that Conan is Gil Kane. Now the Hulk I'm not sure of. That Hulk I'm going to say is Dave Cockrum. Okay, alright. Moving on. 100% genuine natural diamonds. You can get a 1/4 to 1/3 carat from only $6. Yeah. Because that's where I like to buy my precious jewels from. Fucking comic books aimed at teenagers, right? Alright, so anyway, we're back to the big chase. Spaceship's trying to fly away. They're being chased by the bad guys. Here he is. It's every man for himself, and I intend to survive. So now they decide to put the psychic mutant lady into this machine or whatever. And that's going to somehow give them power to outrun everybody or something. Hey, turn belly fat into a rock hard, lean stomach. Alrighty. Okay. Yep. But anyway, we're all chasing. Chase is still on. It's about, I'm stretching my power. I'm stretching my power to the limit. We must prime the lasers. All right. Big and dramatic. Critical moment. Feels like our minds blowing apart, like a disintegrating ship. Okay. Oh, bullpen bulletins. Oh, this is some. Yeah. Yeah, this is some really bad printing. It's so muddied. Here's an ad for the comic we have here. So let's see here. You know, one of our favorite TV shows was Star Trek. One of our biggest disappointments was that the rights for the show as a comic book series have always been tied up. I think Dell might have been publishing the Star Trek comic at this point. Either Dell or Dell. I think that sounds right. 78, 79, something like that. I want to say DC had it at one point. I might be wrong about that. But I do remember Dell. I do remember Dell was publishing it at some point. Anyway, we've had the itch to do a non-superheroes oriented sci-fi strip, and with our sensational Star Wars book, hasn't totally satisfied it. In fact, judging from the cards and letters we're getting, Star Wars has sparked a demand for more. So we set Devil May Care Doug Moench and Titanic Tom Sutton to work on a science fiction special for a Marvel premiere called Seeker 3000. It introduces a set of characters forced to depart on a doomed Earth and find a new salvation for humankind in the stars. We think it's out of the ordinary comic fare, and we're more than a bit excited for it. So set aside the necessary 35 cents. It's due this way January. We're betting you'll find the money well spent. So that's their ad here. Also, there's an ad for How to Draw the Marvel Way. Here's another Hostess ad. Spider-Man spoils a snatch. You look closely, it's pretty clearly this is Sal Buscema. Alright. So anyway, you see all these crazy special effects. And the crew escapes. But here, even though the bad guy has died in the gunfire, he's programmed himself into the ship's computer. So whenever they have to ask the computer for something, they're still going to see the bad guy's face. And then that's it. And here we go, off into the stars. The next issue is going to be Tigra the Werewoman. Alright. Another bodybuilding course. And Star Wars. No, a galaxy of Star Wars treasures. So here's where you can order some Star Wars merchandise. Alright. This is funny. You're trying my patience, R2. You can't wear a backpack. You haven't got a back. Alright. And that is pretty much it. Oh, and here's another thing. Here's this thing where you're supposed to sell seeds. You sell enough seeds, you get money and prizes. And these are supposed to be, oh, what is this stain? I wonder what that is. There's some stain. There's a stain from 1978. But these kids here are supposedly kids who have sowed the seeds. They made big money and prizes. So if these kids can do it, so can you. All right? So can you. Get in the camera there. So can you. All right, so anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And you guys have a great day.